Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I am Ashley and this is my world. Today I am going to talk about how I got this. I was initially diagnosed with gastroparesis finally in June of 2021. I'd had just a lot of issues and I stopped being able to eat much of anything, and if I could eat, it was just little tiny bits here and there. But I was bloating to where I looked like I was I don't know, 6 months pregnant or more. I was always being asked, how far along are you, when's your due date? And then it just got worse and worse and worse. I got sick. I couldn't keep anything down. If I could, it would come up. I am going to make a video on all of that here soon, but I kind of wanted to do just about this today. Fast forward to, let's go, I'd say November, end of October, early November, is when it started really getting really bad, of 2021, by the way. And I couldn't keep anything down. What I could keep down, it would just sit in my stomach and rot, and then it would either come up or, finally go through, but it was rotting. Either I had constipation or I had diarrhea. It was just absolutely horrible. My gastroenterologist, my GI, she just kept prescribing me tons of medications, just throwing more and more medications at me, trying to see if they would help. I was on 4 different anti-nauseas. Some of them I'm allergic to, so I can't take them. And this whole time I'm losing weight. When all of this began, I was at 126 pounds, roughly. I went to my doctor. It was probably in November. Sorry, I'm not looking at anything. I'm just trying to remember. I went to my doctor in November. It was about the end of November, and she said, okay, let's do this, and then I want you back in 2 weeks. And I said, okay. And it was a medication, I'm pretty sure. So I said, okay, fine. I went home. She, at that point, had mentioned, at the very last of the appointment, just kind of an almost under her breath thing, talking about a feeding tube. And I was like, oh, anything, I don't care, whatever works. I went back in 2 weeks, and this was December now, and she, the medication didn't work. It didn't do what it needed to do. It actually kind of made things worse. I was at about 90 pounds at that point. So she wanted me to go on a 6-week full, nothing but liquid diet. I was pretty much already on liquids at that point. My biggest thing that I would have was instant carnation, instant breakfast. And I would have I would do that 3 times a day. And I was doing 3 packets each time because I can't stand it when it's not cold. Everything has to be really cold. Except for my water. For some reason. And then I stopped being able to actually really being able to even finish all of that. So I went down to 2 packets with just about the same amount of milk by the end of everything, or I should say by March 1st, which is the date that I got this place. I was down to where I couldn't even handle that. It was just water, flavored water, which that would give me heartburn, crazy. Heartburn, indigestion, you name it. It was there. January, she saw me and she said, well, let's try this. This is, the last ditch effort. Again, I don't remember what it was. It was a medication. I know that, but I don't remember exactly what medication it was. I went home frustrated, and because I told her, I said, I don't care what we have to do. I am dying, I can't do this anymore. I can't eat. My quality of life is absolutely ridiculously horrible. I can't do anything but sit in bed or sleep, and then when my insomnia hits, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. She said, okay, well, we'll talk about options if this doesn't work. I said, okay. And I faithfully went home and did what I needed to do. So come February, went back to her and she said, okay, we will do your tube, a feeding tube, an NJ, nasojejunum. We'll just do it here in the office. We're going to schedule it for a Friday because she works half day on that Friday. Well, let's backtrack like about 15 years to a car accident I had where I busted my nose, and the whole inside of my nose, the cartilage on the inside of my nose all the way back, was tiny little puzzle pieces. Took 2 surgeries to get them, put back together. I knew that it was going to hurt because one of the pieces in the back deviated, so I have a deviated septum. You can just tell by my nostrils, this side is smaller. It is just a fact. So I was really worried about it, and I had asked her initially that she'd put me under, and then she said, no, we're not going to do that. Whatever. So we get there. My oldest son was with me because Brian had to work that day. She tried 3 times on this side, and it was just excruciating pain. Just absolutely, I was tearing up, snotting, of course, doesn't help that they're trying to show tube up my nose. But she just couldn't get it past the septum in the back. She tried the right side just once and she couldn't even get it halfway, and she was like, yep, nope, that's not gonna happen. And then she came back and she had like this stuff, this goop on like a gauze or whatever, and she goes, okay, this is probably like the only time I'm ever going to tell you to sniff or snort something up your nose, but you gotta snort this up your nose. It was lidocaine. And I'm like, whatever works, man, whatever works. So I'm like, how in the hell do I do this? Okay, let's just get this done. I just need to get this done. I need to get this tube in me, and then I'll be okay. It'll be fine. I'm just being a big baby. That's all it is, I tried it once, and I got some, but I don't think I got quite enough. It was really, really weird and awkward. It's like, it's globular. That's all I'm gonna say. It's globular. No numbness occurred at that point in time. So she had me go ahead and sniff a little bit more. So I just went for it that time. I was just like, get my nose in there. I don't care. We're doing this. And I know I got some in there that time. So we waited about 5 minutes and she said, okay, let's see if we can get this placed. And she tried again and it just did not work. Went home. But I did go home with a date for the placement of this tube, which it was March 1st. They went ahead and put me under. They also did, it's a big old long word. I will try to put it up in here. If not, it will be in the description. It's an endoscopy, essentially, but they go down into the jejunum and not just, through the stomach. They go way down in the jejunum, and they did a couple of little biopsies and whatnot, which, as far as I know, nothing came about with those except to, again, say, oh yeah, you've got gastritis and this and that and the other, so they put me under, they did the scope and put the tube in at the same time. And because they did that, which normally they don't, they only put you under for certain circumstances, mine being one. But unfortunately, they will actually have to put me under to take it out because they put a little clip on the wall of my intestine to hold my tube in place. So it is less likely that if I am, say, vomiting, that it will come out of place. I go in for my placement on March 1st. I go in there, everything is totally fine. I had passed my COVID test and everything a couple days prior. It was going good. I was in a good mood. I weighed 86.2 pounds at that time. Final weight before my tube. I wasn't able to keep anything down at that point. Like liquids even were just not, even water was just not working. They put me under, they placed the tube, do their thing, I wake up, I think it was probably about an hour and a half later. They hadn't brought Brian up yet, but I told him as soon as I woke up, I said, hey, can he come up now? But they got him up before the doctor came in. Well, I was in a ton of pain in between my throat and my sinuses back in the back. So they had given me some IV medication, but they couldn't give me any more of that, but they could give me an oral medication, which I would do. We are doing this to get everything off of my stomach that shouldn't or doesn't need to be there, right? So like all of my medications have to go through the tube, except for ones that are explicitly for my stomach. There is a couple of them that are for my stomach that I have to take orally, no matter what. This is my first tube. I've never had one before, you know, and it all went wrong. I'm laying there. It was after the doctor had come in, and he told us, and I don't know why, but he told us, yep, we'll know in a week, and then we can schedule with a different doctor to put your J tube in or your J in. We said, okay, cool, you know, that's awesome. He told me, you know, I clipped it in, so you don't have to worry about that. The nurse goes to give me my pain medication, and I take it orally. After I had said, shouldn't we put it through my tube? And she's like, oh, no, it'll be fine. I don't know what happened, but it got stuck. So I have the tube on my left side, and so naturally it just rests right here on my left side of my throat. There's a little pocket right there though, and it got stuck right there and just would like wiggle a little bit. And like I panicked because it was kind of, initially it was like in my airway almost, like right there, you know, and so I knew that if I breathed wrong or didn't swallow right or something, you know, it would block my airway. But then it ended up lodging. Well, we tried. I had 2 of these full of water, and I think 2 of the little pudding cups, chocolate pudding cups, because I'm able to have soft foods. Just trying to get it down, you know, and nothing would work. I'm like, whatever, it's fine. I want to go home. So I set up my feed, got myself hooked up, got discharged, and we went home. Halfway home, everything that I had put in came up. And that's when I realized that, yes, that pill is still there. And it, like, because I could get it up a little bit, like I could kind of like feel the top of it when if I stuck my finger back there, which yes, I did. I was trying to get this damn thing out. It hurt, but I couldn't get it to come up any further. So it was stuck there for a good 12 to 16 hours, 12, 14 hours, something like that. Because without constant liquid being on it, it's not going to dissolve. And I wasn't constantly swallowing because it hurt. So I wasn't constantly drinking. I'm getting liquid and everything through this. You know, I'm like, whatever, it's over it. I was able to lay on my right side, and my tube, when I lay on my right side, kind of tends to float over. And so it floated over, which let that release. And by the time I woke up the next morning, it was gone. But damage had been done. Mid-March. I am still in tons of pain in my throat. Every time I swallow, it feels like glass. Just shards of glass as I'm swallowing whatever it was. It didn't matter. Cold stuff, of course, like milkshakes and stuff, would help a little bit, but only to an extent. Just trying to get through every day. I was taking Tylenol and ibuprofen like it was going out of style, which is really hard to do in a tube. That's just turns so many other stories. Anyways, I just simply said, okay, whatever, I'm done. My nurse knew, I had let my doctors know, you know, everybody said, oh, it'll get better, it'll heal, it'll be fine. I'm like, no, it's not. So finally, I think it was right about the 1 month mark of me having my tube, the doctor, he was trying to see, he couldn't see because like it's in like a pocket back here and it's really weird. I moved my tube over for him so that he could try to see behind the tube, but there's still again a pocket that like you have to turn a corner in order to see. It was ridiculous. And in the end, he had mentioned something about a strep throat test, and I said, well, I don't care, you know, whatever, what's it gonna hurt to do a strep test. If it comes out negative, it comes out negative. Great. He comes back in, and that's when he went to go and look because I had moved my tube. And as he comes in, he goes, well, neither one of us, and I don't know why he thought that I was involved in this, either one of us. He's like, but, well, neither one of us thought it was gonna happen, but yeah, you got strep throat. I'm like, oh. It just blew me away that it's strep throat that I've had essentially since my tube was placed, and nobody thought to do a simple strep test. I mean, it's a little swab in the back of your throat, and it usually can take like 15 minutes to get the results back, you know, so I don't know. It was ridiculous. Now, though, we have finally figured it out. It has gone from glass to maybe like a pebble with a little sharpness, maybe slightly here and there sometimes. But I am on antibiotics for it. I'm taking those regularly, and they're helping for sure. I see my doctor, or my GI, next in May, so I will update you about that then. If there's anything else, I will update you soon. I'm hoping to be able to put out at least 2 videos a week is what I'm going to shoot for. If I can't get out 2 and I can only get out 1, just kind of bear with me because I'm still building up my energy and whatnot. I'm 95.6 pounds. I'm so happy. I finally hit the 95 goal. So my next goal is 100. We'll see how long that takes. So far, I seem to be gaining about a pound a week-ish. So, yay. Thank you all for coming and listening to my story of how I got my tube. I will be doing, you know, about my gastroparesis and how we found out about that and all the tests and all of that and whatnot. I will also do a video on what is in my backpack and how I pack it and all of that, you know, how I put my pump and all of my bags and stuff in the backpack when I'm leaving the house and all that. So stay tuned for those, and I love you, and I'll see you later.